You all know me, I'm Heidi Brownlee, but I'm here to talk about how we can bridge the gap between what we're doing in our program with multiplying by multiples of 10 or multiples of 100 in a little bit, and another number, even when we're doing it in standard form. Because we know what kids will go to, what our scholars will go to, is they will see a 0 here and need a line of zeros. And we know that's wasted space, it's a lot of writing, etc. So think about this. We know 32 times 10, right? We talk about, quote, adding a 0, but what I like to think about it is that this 0 is communicating a value that is in the tens, right? So really, and you've done this in your other methods, you're really talking about the significant digit here is the 1, and 1 times the other number is what we're going for. So essentially what I'm going to have here is I'm only going to have 1 0 in my answer because I know my answer will be in the tens. That's what that 0 communicates. So 1 times 32 is all I'm working with because it's 110 times 32. So it's going to end up being 32 tens, which is 320. Okay, so let's hold on to that idea. So really this is like having a 10 here. So now when I look at this problem, now I've got 4. Same concept. This is 4 tens, aka 40. So in the end, it's 4 tens, right? So if I put a 0 here in my answer line, that means whatever I've got here is that many tens. So I'm really just worried about the 4 as a significant digit. So 4 times 2, that gives me an 8, but because 4 is in the tens, that 8 needs to be in the tens, right? That's where it is. And then 4 times 3 gives me the 12. So it's 128 tens, or 1,280. We don't need that layer of zeros, is the bottom line. So essentially what I'm doing is, if you think about this, another way to think about this in terms of what we're doing is basically I have 32 times 4 tens. It's almost like having 32 groups of 4 apples. It just happens to be tens. And when you do that, we can see that that's 128 tens, which is that. We would agree that this is more confusing, but this is the same thing, okay? So now, how does that work when we're carrying and regrouping, right? So let's look at this. So again, I have that 0. So I know whatever I'm doing is in my tens, right? Great. So now I've got 3 times 7. Well, wait a minute, that's 21. I can't just write 21 down, but I know that I have 1 in the tens, because 3 is in the tens. And just like before, you would add 2. But do you see how not having that layer of zeros is going to help your kids out as well? I have 3 times 5, which we know is 15. I add 2, I get 17. So it's 1,710. We can also think about that as breaking apart, but wait, it's too much in this one video, so I'm going to stop there. But that's the idea. So now, let's extend that idea, because what we have is we have our students taking something like, let's just say the problem was 300 instead of our 30 here. Let's just say for a minute, right? Normally, we would write that as 300 times 57 because we want the, quote, smaller number on the bottom, right? But the problem with that is if I think about that as 300 times 57, I want you to think about this. You're going to have a line when you multiply by 7, and you're going to have a line when you multiply by 5. Lots of writing here, lots of zeros, right? However, what if I thought about that more as 300, right, times 57? I would never in a million years stack this fact up like that, right? Why would I do that? So it's the same concept, and this is going to be weird, so bear with me. If you think about this, if we use this standard, but obviously not when this has other numbers here, but when the significant digit, there is 1 significant digit in that number, just the 3. There are 2 significant digits in this number, 2 that we have to worry about multiplying by. Zeros, we know when we multiply, we get zeros. So that's why they're not, quote, significant in a word problem. And they will hear that language again in science in their later life. But I would still consider this as something like 57 times 300. I could write the word out like that if I wanted to, and then have 100 in the answer, and then translate that to be the zeros. Or I could simply look at this problem and know that those two zeros are communicating that I'm in the hundreds. So there's my two zeros in my answer line. Now I'm just going to multiply by 3. It's going to be the same thing we had up here. So I'm going to have 171, because that is 3 times 57. We showed it up here. But now these two zeros are because I had 300 instead of 30. So there's that. I'm not saying that this is the only way to do this. I am saying that this might be a little bit, it's more about the number sense, it's more about what we're communicating with those zeros, rather than having stacks of zeros that your students get lost in and we get lost in. Just something to think about. Thank you.